I will call the Monday, January 3rd, 2022 regular meeting to order at 4 p.m. And going to do the roll call.
Mayor Hawkins?
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Plummer?
Here.
Councilmember Such?
Here.
Councilmember Seekerstrom?
Here.
With Garaventa absent.
Cool. Okay. I'm looking for any public comments on the closed session item because we will be adjourning into closed session after this. I don't see any hands raised through Zoom. And I don't see any members of the public unless Mr. Gorski would like to say something publicly. Okay, so we will adjourn into closed session at 4:02 p.m.
And Doug, we'll give you a call.
Okay, with all the members of the council here, city administrator and our city attorney can hear us. Is that correct?
That's correct, Mayor.
Yay. Okay, so I will call the Monday, January 3rd meeting to order at 5:01 p.m. I'll pull my paper clip off my papers. Okay, Pledge of Allegiance. Councilmember Such.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Councilmember Such. Okay, roll call, please.
Mayor Hawkins?
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Plummer?
Here.
Councilmember Garaventa?
Here.
Councilmember Such?
Here.
Councilmember Seekerstrom?
Here.
Okay, city clerk's report on agenda posting.
The agenda was posted on Thursday, December 30th at 4:00 p.m.
And approval of the agenda. Everything's cool? Okay. Before I go to presentations, I just want to let everyone know that in our closed session, we gave direction. I knew Jim was about ready to remind me. I do. I do appreciate that. Okay, so presentations. Item number 3 is receive a Tuolumne County update for District 1 Supervisor, Mr. David Goldenberg.
Am I live here? Yeah. So, good evening. Happy New Year to everyone. I hope you had a wonderful holiday season. Still with us, right? So just a few things going on, from the county perspective. Number one was we had a really good meeting with this city council, right? It was a special meeting. We came to agreement on a resolution that we're going to continue formally, have a couple of meetings a year. More importantly, is just that we need to continue our relationship and working together. And I'm really happy to see that. And it was, like I said, it was a really good meeting. On the county side, Fire Safety Advisory Committee, that's something that I'm well involved in, based on my career. We meet the fourth Wednesday, 10:30 to 12:30. And, I encourage anybody to, participate in that. We're working towards a vegetation ordinance, similar to what the city has and to what Chief New has, had going with the city for at least a couple of years now, I think. Anyways, we're trying to, move this forward. It's really important for the safety of our communities. We're going to have a public meeting this Wednesday at 6 p.m. I dropped off some flyers, to each of your members of the council, and, so that you can see that and distribute it. You know, part of the discussion during our joint meeting was homeless. So important, so particularly applicable, you know, to the city and to me, right? My district includes the city and outlying areas, and there's no other area in the county that has more issues, you know, related to homelessness in one way or another. It'll be on our agenda, you know, tomorrow at the Board of Supervisors, but I'll be joining the Homeless Commission, I should say, and that'll be part of, you know, what takes place tomorrow. But I look forward to that. You know, I needed to be there, and I should be there. Other than that, you know, fully supportive of the Greenlee bypass, which we discussed during our joint meeting as well, and trying to move forward with that and look at TCTC and how we can go about, you know, trying to establish funding, you know, to lay down a path to go there. And finally, you know, during the holiday season, you know, Turu and I, we participated in the Salvation Army bell ringing, and it was very successful at the bean feed, you know, between the Sportsman and the Union Democrat. And I understand we raised about $565. So good deal there. Other than that, I'd be welcome to take any questions.
Any members of council have any questions? Oh, Councilmember Sutch.
Did I understand you correctly that you're now on the Tuolumne County Commission on Homelessness? that what you said?
Not today, but should be tomorrow.
Oh.
But yes.
Okay, I'll ask later.
I have full intentions, and I believe that, you know, that'll take place.
Yeah.
Yes,
They're having their redo the chair and all their committee assignments tomorrow.
correct.
Oh, Councilmember Sagestrom.
This is more of a beautification suggestion, but I do think that the courthouse park has looked quite sparkly with the trees wrapped, and that was a city initiative, and I think the county should take a look at perpetuating it.
You know what? And I concur entirely with you, Ann. Thank you for bringing that up. Yeah.
Cool. Anyone else?
Anything further?
Dave, I want to thank you for being here. Again, this is your commitment and you've kept it going, and I really appreciate it.
You're quite welcome. Thank you.
Thank you.
Happy New Year, David.
Yeah, Happy New Year. Okay. Next is public comment on non-agenda items. The public may address the council on any item of public interest not otherwise on the agenda that is within the jurisdiction of the city. No action can be taken. Matters to be addressed may be referred to city staff or placed on a subsequent meeting agenda. Speakers are limited to a 3-minute presentation. And if you're participating in Zoom, please raise your hand using the raise your hand feature or dial *9. I don't see anybody on Zoom, so I'll ask if there's any public comment. Come on up.
Mr. Mayor, city council members.
I think that's Bill Selden, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah, how you doing?
Can I hand you a couple of photographs before you?
Yeah, that's fine.
Just hand it.
All right, you got it handed to the clerk, or it should be the city administrator for this meeting.
Well, my clock's ticking.
Jackie, can we reset? Since he didn't start, can we reset? Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
Don't take the. No. Yeah, there's one for each. There should be more for the press, whatever. Are we going?
Yeah, go for it, sir.
So I'm just here to try to correct something. 20 years ago, the city of Sonora had great intentions of doing a city beautification project on South Washington Street. And they sent me on a mission down to Blue Mountain Minerals to see if they would be willing to donate some rocks, some marble, some boulders, whatever. And we jumped the gun a little bit, but the first pictures in front of you are the Jerry Nielsen, Fred Esch, and Pedro, the owner of the quarry. They graciously donated some rocks specifically for that project. The project never materialized. Over the many years, so this is 21 years ago, the rocks have been sitting in the public works yard, basically turned into just a place where things get stored on, bumped into. These rocks are antique, they're basically priceless. And I just want to see what steps it would take to encourage the city to see about how to get those back to the quarry where they belong. So that's the long and the short of it, basically. I know you can't take any action. I don't even know if you can ask a question, but no one is in this room, except for maybe Rochelle, that even knows anything about this. Most of you have probably never seen these things. Two city administrators have come and gone. I talked to Greg Applegate about it a couple of weeks ago. He remembers it. Doesn't even remember the rocks because they came to the public works yard, sat there for 20 plus years, specifically for that project, not to be used willy-nilly in public in any other place. So
We can ask clarifying questions, correct? Yeah.
Yes.
So this was designed for a project where?
South Washington Street, they were going to call it the Gateway Project coming into town.
Oh, okay.
Financing never materialized. I think we were looking for grants. Mr. Applegate had indicated that he had a headworks for a mine site coming out of Tuolumne that we were going to go up and explore, trying to bring
I
it
remember that. Yeah.
downtown. I mean, it was a big deal.
Yeah.
But they have asked me through the years about getting that rock back, and it was a handshake deal with these guys. No money exchanged or anything, but I've got to get I've got to get it started if I'm procrastinating about it's not getting done.
So,
So Blue Mountain Minerals wants these rocks back.
Yes.
Okay.
And if it takes their money to get a crane in to lift them up, that's why some of those pictures are what they are.
here's the big question. I want to make sure we're not breaking any Brown Act or having Brown Act issues. Can we bring this back possibly on another agenda so we can ask the questions? And Bill, I'd like to talk to you later because I got a few questions about these rocks. And if they would just want them back, or if we push forward and did something and use these, but I know you can't really answer that now because we can't go back and forth. Would the council be okay bringing this back with a discussion item? Would you be willing to come back to the council and?
Yeah, matter of
talk?
fact, Jerry Nielsen, the retired president of the company, is in Mexico, and he's, if you want to put this on an agenda and have a conversation about it. I know there's no interest in passing them off to another project. I know they'd like to have them back in Columbia where they really belong. They were never intended to be in Sonora, but I begged and whined enough to where I got my hands on them.
So I'll try to get with you, but would the council be willing to bring this back and have on an agenda?
Sure.
Okay.
Can I ask one more question?
I guess as long as it's a clarifying question, I don't, just.
So tell me, I don't know if it's a clarifying question or not. Were there any plans drawn up for this stone?
No, it was a little premature for me to go get these things. There were concepts, ideas we kicked around, but it never materialized. None of it.
Okay.
So if the council, I can get with the gentleman and get the information provided on an agenda item. Obviously, if it's something we need to provide back, which we would need to show proper documentation of donation to the city and so forth, and surplusing of documentation. So I will get the information and agendize further.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, Bill, thank you very much.
Yeah. Thanks for listening.
And I'll get with you. I'll call you here in a few days.
Sounds great.
Something.
Thank you very much.
Do these need to go back?
What was that? I didn't understand you. Sorry.
I work at the newspaper. You got copies of what you gave them?
No,
Okay,
no.
no worries.
I have more.
Okay. Thank you. Yeah, thanks. Happy New Year to you too. Is there anyone else that would like to speak on public comment? Come on up, sir. And again, this is for non-agenda items.
Which is almost everything tonight.
Yeah.
what I'm about to say is I am going to make a statement, never done it before, but I'm going to put the bulk of you under citizen's arrest, starting with Mary Rose, the city attorney, for shutting down all businesses in downtown Sonora. She had no legal authority to do that in March of 2020, nor do any of you have to do. The only person who's not going to be citizen arrest is Mark Plummer, because he didn't vote for it. And Matt Hawkins, Coletta Such, Jim Garavante, and Segerstrom, you all voted to go along with the governor and what he did offer you was reimbursement COVID-19. I don't have a problem with that. That's what governor's supposed to do. But then he asked you, you had to follow my lead and go along with his program. You can't do that. You cannot violate your oath of office. It's illegal. It's a felony. Every person in this board, this chamber, right, including David Goldenberg behind me, I have their oath of office a long time ago. I acquired all your oath of office. Got a phone call from Judy Sludge, January 6, 9:35 a.m. We have your signatures for the city of Sonora, all of them. Every police officer, police chief, got them all. And I don't keep tabs of the local police office because there's such a high turnover rate. Now, Mark Plummer, you did not vote for that. I only have public radio. That's my news. That's all I have. You voted no, said this is slippery slope. Good man. You're not the one that's going to get in trouble here. You're in the clear. If you don't believe me, go talk to Dave T. He knows what I've been up to. So the first one, I am quite nervous. I've never done this before. Title 18, U.S. Code, Section 2381. When you swear an oath to the Constitution, you're swearing an oath to these codes. In the presence of two or more witnesses of the same overt act, that means public, or in open court of law, if you fail to timely move to protect and defend the Constitution of the United States and honor your oath of office, you are subject to the charge of capital felony treason. They can, federal Constitution, he can sentence you to death by hanging. That's perfectly illegal under the Constitution. Nearest federal courthouse is Fresno. Now, if I'm just putting you in a sentence arrest, you do whatever you want to do. I do have a memorandum from the U.S. Attorney General William Barr at April 27, 2020. Yes, he did resign on
30 seconds.
Okay, on his memorandum here, it says, but the Constitution is never suspended in times of crisis. How on earth did the City Hall suspend the Constitution? You're city council members. You're not the U.S. Congress. You have to have an Article 5 for that. You have that. So Matt Hawkins, Coletta Such, Jim Carvana, and Segerstrom.
Time's up, sir.
And I already got her. There. That's all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, is there any other more public comment? Okay, then I guess we are on to item number 4 and 5, which are the consent calendar. Items on the consent calendar are considered routine and will be voted on in one motion unless a council member or members of the public has a question or wishes to discuss an item. In that case, the item will be removed from the consent calendar considered separately. Are there anything that any of the council members want to move or change or? Okay. And is there any public comment on the consent calendar? Okay, so I will bring it back to the council for a motion and a second.
I'll move to approve the consent calendar.
I'll second that.
Motion by Councilmember Garaventa, second by Councilmember Such. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any noes? Any abstentions? Okay, so I will move on to item number 6, which is new business. Consideration to approve an agreement for the consultancy services between the city of Sonora and the Chicken Ranch Tribe of Miwok Indians and authorize the mayor to sign the agreement. Mary Rose.
Mr. Mayor, members of the council, the item before you is a consultancy agreement between the city of Sonora and the Chicken Ranch Tribe of Miwok Indians. I just want to draw your attention to that change in wording. Recently, the tribe has changed their name. So the previous agreement, the letter of intent that we signed was with the Chicken Rancheria of Miwok Indians. Due to a recent change, they are the Chicken Ranch Tribe of Miwok Indians. This is the next step in the process in which that letter of intent that was signed on November 15th as we move towards that fee-for-service contract with the Chicken Ranch Tribe. This consultancy agreement is specifically for hours of consultancy by your fire chief to lend consultation and expertise to the Chicken Ranch Tribe as they start the acquisition of their equipment and the building of their fire station on their tribal lands out there in Chicken Ranch. And if the fire chief would like to provide additional information, she has had discussion specifically with the tribe in regards to this agreement. So if she wants to add any more information.
I did meet with the Chicken Ranch Tribe last week to go over kind of a timeline for moving things forward. Obviously, they've already broken ground several months ago on the new casino and hotel. They're hoping to break ground on the new fire station sometime in March, and also do an acquisition of a fire engine and equipment for response. So we went over, started down the process of figuring out what their standards of coverage is going to be for their tribal lands. And so in doing so, they wanted to go ahead and move forward with a consulting agreement between the city for my services to help out with showing them different aspects of a fire station, the contractor and the gentleman that's out there consulting for them on the actual project, said, hey, we would love to have your help because we can design all we want, but we need to know what it's going to be like to work in the fire station every day. There might be things that need to be changed or altered to help assist with that. So, and then also speccing out a new fire engine for them and also helping them with the procurement of equipment for their responses. So before you is basically a state of California consulting agreement that they are taking forward to their tribe if it's approved here today by the council, and hopefully we'll have something in agreement by the end of this week to start.
And just to mention, compensation is based on your fire chief's weighted salary, so taking into account the benefits and so forth, and will be based on an hour per hour charge. And then also the length of this contract is for a 2-year contract. Again, this is the first step of the overarching fee for service that the city will be negotiating with the tribe. This is just to merely get the project off the ground as we start preparing for additional discussions with the tribe.
So I'd be happy to answer any questions you may have.
No, just a statement. Amy, knowing you as long as I've known you, this doesn't surprise me that they would be reaching out to you to consult, to build a good fire department. And I just want to thank you for building the bridge. I mean, you really and truly, like your abilities, your abilities for common sense, it makes me proud it makes me proud to be a mayor of this city. And I just can't thank you enough for, helping build that bridge for our Native American community that is here. So thank you.
Yeah, it's going to be a great project for the entire county, not just the tribal lands, but the entire county. This
Absolutely.
is going to put a fully staffed additional Type 1 engine for response in the county. So, I mean, this is a big step. So it's great.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions?
Or such.
When are you going to sleep?
What's that? When I'm dead. They always say you have plenty of time to sleep when you're dead. So, yeah, no, it's going to be a lot of work, but it's going to be worth it in the long run.
Yeah,
There'll be a lot of late nights and stuff, I'm sure, going through this whole process. But, when we get to hire additional firefighters that are going to be responsive to the tribal lands and hopefully, in areas around the county and response to the city, it's going to be worth it in the long run. It's just building that relationship is going to be wonderful. So it already has been. So they're really open to suggestions and really want to do things right. So they're taking their time with it, and it's going to be a great relationship.
I'm excited.
I'm
super excited.
Yeah,
It's,
yeah, exactly. I couldn't echo Matt's words anymore.
yeah, well said, Matt.
Well, thank you. I actually didn't. I didn't stick my foot in my mouth. Yay.
I just have a question about and I don't know if you're the one if you need to answer this, but on the disclosure of information, the second page of the number 6, I just don't understand about halfway down the line that starts with tribes financial information. It's the middle of a sentence. Identity of tribes and patients. What is that addressing?
I'm sorry, in the first paragraph?
Disclosure of information, number 6. Yes, the first paragraph, a little bit more than halfway down. The line, not the sentence, but the line starts with tribes financial information, comma, identity of tribes and patients.
Yeah, this was
I don't know what
language,
that means.
yeah, this was language taken from a standard California consulting contract. And so one of the things they had in there, in case, I mean, we are looking at EMS response in there. So if we're going through anything, if there's something that happens with the tribe or tribal members, there might be patient contact while I'm out there. So that would cover any kind of HIPAA violations or protections under the HIPAA law. So if I did assist somebody while I was out there, obviously I have a duty to act. So if while I'm on tribal grounds and something happens and I'm in my command vehicle, I do carry EMS equipment, that would be kept confidential.
Okay. Just kind of a strangely worded sentence, I think, but okay, thanks.
Any other questions from council? Okay, then I will ask for any public comment. I was hoping you'd come up, Dave.
You were, huh? Okay, so David Goldenberg with the county supervisor for District 1. I'm in favor, of this type of agreement. Anything that we can do that complements the county fire system as a whole is a plus in my mind. Obviously, my career, I had 35 years with CAL FIRE, and I've seen a lot of agreements, and sometimes they cross some boundaries, by a few miles, but that's okay. The important thing is that we want to increase the fire protection for the county as a whole. And so I just wanted to step up and, speak, to that from my perspective. This isn't a county position, because there was some concerns on the part of the county as far as should county fire be doing this, should the city of Sonora. Doesn't really matter. What really matters is that we increase the fire protection for the county as a whole. So I just wanted to go on record as saying that. Thanks.
Thank you. Is there anyone else? Okay, so I will bring it back to the council, I guess for a motion and a second.
Okay, I'll move to approve an agreement for consultancy services between the city of Sonora and the Chicken Ranch Tribe of Miwok Indians, is that correct? And authorize the mayor to sign the agreement.
Okay.
Second,
Okay,
I'd also like to say how much I appreciate the blessing of another fire professional coming at it from, a professional's perspective. Thank you.
okay, so motion by Councilmember Garaventa, second by Mayor Pro Tem Plummer. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any noes? Any abstentions? Passes 5-0. And again, Amy, I think you're chief new. Thank you so much for helping build these bridges. This is really awesome.
Thank you very much. It's going to be an exciting 2022. So.
Heck yeah. Okay, on to councilmember department head reports. So I will start with Mr. Gorski. Michelle Kellogg. Okay. City attorney.
Nothing tonight.
City administrator.
I just want to remind the council and the public that this is my last official regular city council meeting, and what a joy it has been to work with the council and the public these last 2 years. I sincerely appreciate all the hard work that we have done as a city and as the department heads. These last years, they have been an extraordinary time these last 2 years with several emergencies, but it has been a fantastic learning experience, and I'm extremely thankful for the opportunity to be able to be city administrator these last 2 years.
Heck yeah. Okay, so Councilmember Sagestrom.
You aren't going to the police chief or?
Oh, shoot, see, there I go again.
Well, I'm happy to talk, but.
Yep.
but
I usually
know
write it
Drew
down.
has something to say.
Police Chief, Drew Vanderweel. And Chief New. See, I usually write everything down as I'm going on, and I just forgot my pen tonight because it's such a short meeting.
Well, as your emergency services department heads, we were both conversing back there when we got overlooked.
I apologize, sir.
If we had anything to report out, and the only thing really we both wanted to say was to thank Mary Rose publicly for her time here, her contributions. For my part, I appreciate being forward-looking and not settling for the routine. I really appreciate that type of leadership. And also, we've been through a couple incidents together, emergencies together. And what struck me is above and beyond is actually having your boots on the ground when things went bad, and that means a lot. Meant a lot to me, but it also means a lot to our constituents who can, our employees, our line personnel, to look up and see one of their leaders, their city administrator, out there with them on the front line in the trenches. So that goes a long way. So I thank you for that as well, and good luck. We wish you well.
I just wanted to say, I know when you first started, what was it, within a week, we had the whole COVID pandemic hit, so, and it's hasn't gone away yet, and we don't have a foreseen future that it's going to be going away. We just hope and pray that it does. So I know that was a struggle for all of us, and do appreciate your leadership through that. Also, the support that you gave all of your department heads and your employees through the Washington fire. That was the biggest incident since I've been in the city for the fire department. And it really meant a lot that every time I went to the EOC, you were there. You were asking what we needed. You were texting. You were, calling, and just making sure that everybody was okay and that we had all the support that we needed. So I wish you the best in your new adventure, and hope your kids are going to get a really good education. So they come back here maybe and work for the city. I got openings in the fire department when they get back. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, now, Councilmember Sagestrom.
I don't have much to report, but I do want to wish everyone Happy New Year. And I'm just reporting for Katie Dunn, who has done her Christmastown Sonora to a T, but she wanted everyone to know that Santa's mailbox has gone into storage. The nonprofits will dismantle their trees on Wednesday, and I'm going down to help with that. Santa's house is leaving on the 8th, and the lights, no, sorry, Sonora Public Works is taking care of Santa's house. Thank you, Sonora Public Works. And on the 8th, the lights will be removed from the park and the church. I also want to thank Mary Rose. I've had a learning experience too. These not quite as torturous as yours, but I really appreciate your quick responses, your knowledge, and I know that the Peace Corps is going to gain a really on the job kind of person and you'll, next thing I know, you'll be in the federal government. So, well, I'll look forward to that. Good luck.
Okay, Councilmember Garaventa.
Don't have anything much to report on meetings and such, obviously because of all the holidays. But regarding Mary Rose, I can't thank you enough for what you've done for the city for the last couple of years. COVID, with all the other things going on, it's been a real challenge, and you've done a great job in my view. Gonna miss you and hope things work out very well in Cameroon, and hope. You sure you can't call it in from Cameroon somehow? Or would that be double dipping? Or
yeah. Also, how you don't like to stay that late? I don't think, Jim.
Yeah. So, thank you so much.
Councilmember Such.
I also, I don't think I really attended a meeting, but a couple things I just want to report on. And one is, and this conflicts Supervisor Goldenberg with your meeting on Wednesday. But on Wednesday afternoon, via Zoom at 5:30, the Stanislaus National Forest is hosting a virtual open house. This was in mymotherlode.com today. It's a meeting. It's a grouping of all of the leaders in our forest industry, meeting about the best way to handle our forests, and it's called Social and Ecological Resilience Across the Landscape. They've never had a combination like this before, where every perspective has a seat at the table. And I think it will be, I'm sort of excited about it, although I'm also excited about the vegetation ordinance. And the only other thing I want to say is that just want to mention that Desmond Tutu passed away on the 26th. I think he was an inspirational leader. And I kind of looked up a bunch of quotes from him because he's quoted broadly. And the one that really spoke to me is, "It is through weakness and vulnerability that most of us learn empathy and compassion and discover our soul." So thank you, Desmond Tutu. And Mary Rose, Chief New said it was a week. I think you had a day before COVID hit, as I remember. It was, I don't even think you had a desk yet, but you worked smart and you worked really, really hard, and you got an extraordinary amount done in these last 2 years. And a lot of it was stuff that just needed to be brought up to date, but equally it was stuff that was very meaningful to our community and to our city and to this council. And so I thank you for that, and good luck. Good luck.
Mr. Mayor Pro Tem.
Well, let's start with our constituents. Happy New Year to all of you. And I have a good feeling it's going to be a much better year. So everybody smile.
Is that why you wore the face shield? So you could smile?
It makes us human again. Humans need to see faces. Anyway, Mary Rose, I very much appreciate your leadership and your work here. And one of the things that I especially appreciate is you're working hard, you're leading to the very last day, when it would have been so easy to just let a lot of things slide that aren't urgent. And I enormously appreciate that from you, and I think the entire council does. Obviously, I can only speak for myself. No mind reading. But in some ways, I envy you this adventure, this new adventure, which is one reason why I never got on bended knee to beg you to stay. But we will miss you enormously and miss your leadership, and will struggle to replace you. Thank you so much. And lastly, I would like to ask the council to, if we can't bring up social equity and discuss the direction it's going. In the last meeting, our esteemed city administrator was trying to present the qualms and issues that the city staff has about some of these. I mean, we've had 2 months of discussions about white supremacy culture.
So, Mark, whether I agree with it, we have to be really careful.
Right.
We can ask the council if we can agendize it or not.
No,
And that's fine. We just have to be careful discussing it. Due to
I
Brown Act
I
issues.
recognize we can't, but to ask the council to consider bringing it back up, I've got to speak to the council, and this is the only venue I can do it in. So here in Mary Rose, we have one of the very few people who speaks eloquently with a mixed race family, with mixed race children, and for inexplicable reasons, the Social Equity Committee has never been interested in what she might have to say about that and life in this county. And I think that's an oversight that
let's see if we
Okay.
can ask about putting it up on the
Okay.
agenda. So, is there a want to talk about the Social Equity Committee on a future agenda? Okay. I personally, I'll just throw my 2 cents out there. I don't think the next meeting is ideal to
No,
discuss
Probably
this
not.
on the next agenda, but I'm thinking maybe February or mid-February.
Sounds good.
But, you know, it sounds like we've got two that are willing to talk about it
Sure,
and,
yeah, fine. Although I'm curious, do you want Mary Rose to make a statement to be submitted, or?
She won't even be here anymore.
I know,
but-
I know,
oh,
that's why I'm kind of curious
Well,
about
I
her.
think it would have been of interest
Yep.
to have somebody who actually represents the community that's being discussed very deeply and for the last better than a year. And,
If I could, I think we're now getting into a discussion
Yeah.
item. I
Yeah,
think
yeah,
that-
this is,
Yeah, I'm sorry.
I think the question really is whether or not we want to put it on. I'm assuming that it's a general agenda item with no specific agendized direction, or is there, so I know what we're agendizing? Is it just social equity in general?
yeah, that's what it sounds like to me. We would be discussing social equity in general. So it sounds like we have a consensus. The question is, when would the meeting be? Or what meeting would we want to put this on the agenda? I think mid-February if we're gonna do it, just because of all the changes we got going on.
Yeah, I would think end of the second meeting in February. Just to give
Or certainly by
whoever
then-
helps us
Yeah,
with
'cause
the
you-
transition, at least 2 meetings
Yeah,
to kind of
that's-
get their
So
feet wet.
you two were on the social equity committee. How do you feel about that?
I don't know how to make that determination. I mean, I think mid-February is fine with me if
Okay.
that's a reasonable.
Yeah,
If that's
by-
reasonable,
by-
you know
by-
what?
By the
I-
second meeting in February.
Okay.
I have an idea that might actually be best, and that is if we just bring it up to set a date in 2 meetings after we know who's going to be helping us run the city.
That-
Because,
That makes
I mean,
sense.
they probably, that's an unknown person right now, and they should have some voice in it as well, since
Okay.
it's gonna.
So let's do it that way then, and we'll just maybe agendize to figure out when,
Yeah.
maybe next meeting, we'll figure out when we're gonna do this. And that way, nobody's having discussions and there's no infighting and
Yeah.
we can,
I would
Have a
even
good
be
night.
happy making
Yeah, I like
making
the
that
invite.
decision in 2 meetings.
so, okay. So we'll figure that out
Yeah.
next meeting. And Mary Rose, since I'm the last one, I'll just say thank you. It's been a joy to work with you. I can say I told you so, just like I told you, within a month of you coming here, you're gonna go on to bigger and better things. And, proud to say you're from Sonora. I think it's great. I think it's really great. You know, the job you'll be taking on is going to affect a lot of lives. Here you affect a lot of lives, and now you're gonna be affecting a lot more. So I appreciate your drive. I appreciate your work ethic. The things we got done the last 2 years that you've been here, have been phenomenal, and I just want to say thank you. So with that, I will call the meeting at 5:43 PM.